సామాజికంగా, శాస్త్రీయంగా మనిషి ఎంత జ్ఞానం సంపాదించుకున్నా కొన్ని పదాలు గోప్యంగానే చర్చించుకోవాలంటారు. ముఖ్యంగా లైంగిక జీవితం గురించి. స్కూల్ కరిక్యులంలో సెక్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఉన్నా సేఫ్ సెక్స్ గురించి బహిరంగ ప్రకటనలు వస్తున్న ఓపెన్ డిస్కషన్లో అది ఒక నిషేధిత అంశం. అలాంటి స్టీరియోటైప్స్ ను ఛేదించుకొని కోమల్ బల్వా ముందడుగు వేశారు. బ్లూ కొండమ్ స్టార్టప్ తో సరికొత్త ప్రేరణకు తెరలేపారు. ఎన్ని ఇబ్బందులు ఎదురైనా వెనుతిరగలేదు. వీహబ్ ప్రోత్సాహంతో కాండమ్స్ వ్యాపారంలో కొత్త పుంతలు తొక్కుతున్న మహిళా వ్యాపారవేత్త కోమల్ సక్సెస్ జర్నీ ఎంతో మందికి ప్రేరణ.
Hello, welcome to Millioniare Minds. ప్రతిసారి ఒక్కొక్క కొత్త స్టోరీతో మనం వస్తున్నాం కదా. ఈసారి వచ్చిన స్టోరీ అయితే టోటలీ డిఫరెంట్ ఉంది. ప్రతిసారి ఇలానే అంటున్నారేమో, బట్ ఈసారి మాత్రం నిజంగానే టోటల్గా ఒక డిఫరెంట్ స్టోరీతో వచ్చాం మనం. ఇండియాలో ఏంటంటే సెక్స్ గురించి మాట్లాడాలంటే అసలు సెక్స్ అనే వర్డ్ని యూజ్ చేసినా కానీ ఒక పెద్ద ట్యాబు అనమాట. ఈవెన్ మెన్ మాట్లాడరు, విమెన్ కూడా మాట్లాడరు. బట్ అలాంటి సిచ్యువేషన్లో హైదరాబాద్ నుంచి 2019లో ఈ ట్యాబు ఏదైతే ఉందో విమెన్ ఎంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్స్ ముందుకొచ్చారు. విమెన్ వెల్నెస్ గురించి, సెక్షువల్ వెల్నెస్ గురించి, సెక్షువల్ హెల్త్ గురించి మాట్లాడడానికి. అది మాత్రమే కాకుండా ఇదొక ఈకో ప్రోడక్ట్ కూడా. మామూలుగా ఏంటంటే కాండమ్స్ మనం బయట కొనేస్తూ ఉంటాము, బట్ అదేమీ ఒక సస్టైనబుల్ ప్రోడక్ట్ కాదు. ఇది ఒక సస్టైనబుల్ ప్రోడక్ట్ గురించి అని చెప్పడానికి ఒక విమెన్ ముందుకొచ్చారు. తన పేరే కోమల్ బల్ద్వా. బ్లూ అనే ప్రోడక్ట్తో మన ముందుకు వచ్చారనమాట. అసలు ఈ బ్లూ అనే ప్రోడక్ట్ ఏంటి, తననే అడిగి తెలుసుకుందాం మనం. హాయ్ కోమల్, హౌ ఆర్ యూ?
హాయ్, ఐమ్ గుడ్. హౌ అబౌట్ యూ?
యా, మీ టూ, థ్యాంక్ యూ. సో ఐ వాజ్ reading about you and watching all your stories in the YouTube and Instagram also. Quite surprising. 2023 now we are in, but still most of the people, they cannot pronounce the name of condoms, they cannot pronounce the name of sex, and they won't even talk in the public also. But 2019, think about the 2019, you come up with an idea of selling online condoms, and that too it's in a sustainable sexual way and in the eco way also. How that idea came first of all in your mind?
Well, one of the reasons was because I personally was going through the issues that required me to go for the sustainable way and the sustainable living. I have been trying to go on to the sustainable way of living from the past 2016 onwards, and been trying to work onto it, like from the small changes. Of course it doesn't happen overnight. It's a small changes that really takes, like reducing the number of the clothes, going towards the minimalism, trying to find out the source, the entire supply chain of the product, how the product has been manufactured, if I'm purchasing it, whether the fair wages has been done for it or not, whether the child labor has been involved. Of course these things were very new at that time in India, and it was something which I was personally going through it, and I was not finding many options to really use for my own personal usages. Then the second reason was even the issues that the chemicals that has been used in the condoms were not being discussed very widely, and there were not much being spoken about how the condoms are being manufactured. If you turn around the condom box in India, they do not really mention the ingredients, which is very surprising, and how it has been sourced, where the production has happened, or how the raw material has been procured, etc. Nothing has been mentioned about it. The reason, the third one, was the chemicals which has been used were reacting very badly onto my body, and I was suffering a lot with the reaction, which apparently is, when we did a survey for about more than 400 odd women, we found that about 78% or 70% of the women are also suffering from the similar issues, but are not being speaking about it. As you said, it's still a word that many people cannot really pronounce properly. Some still call it condom and various names that we
And or whispering in the medical shops
yeah,
that what they want.
and the funny names like umbrella,
Yeah.
chhatri.
Okay. So before going deeper into the subject, I want to know why it is blue. Blue or blah or what it is?
Very, very personal reason for naming it blue, because blue is always associated with boys,
Boys.
and we were on the verge of breaking the taboo. We are a women wellness startup focused on bringing in the solutions which is apparently women first. So when you talk about it, pink would not be something that can actually break the taboo or break the thoughts about it. So blue is like it's for women, but then we are breaking all the taboos. We are breaking the glass ceilings. A woman, I was the first woman in India to stand up and talk about women wellness in a sexual manner as well. So that approach being followed, and still we do that. Still we try to bring into the solutions of the women health first, with all the issues that is not spoken about, like into the second segment is about the menopause that we want to get into it.
The one thing is you said this is your personal reason, you got this idea and you want to invent this one. So by that time, even with the family members also, you know, people are doing so many different type of businesses. When you come up with this idea, with whom you shared and what is their response by that time?
The initial response with whomsoever I shared, so first one was my husband. It was a big setback or a shock for him that why of all the category would you want to enter into this category? Why not into some simpler categories which will have an easier pathway? Yeah, even with my family members, with my in-laws and everyone, it was a very, very challenging at the beginning to convince them. But eventually they understood the concept and they realized the need of it. And of course, they then, when we did the survey and all, they understood that, yeah, it's not something which is very peculiar to a single woman, but then it's the issue that is not being spoken about and is common spread across the woman.
See, there are a lot of not even a single condom box is mentioning what they are, ingredients or whatever. They are not mentioning on that box. What is that ingredients in the normally they are using and what it is making difference to the blue?
Since they do not really mention what they are using, it's very difficult to really understand and comprehend about the competitors. But how we are different is something that I can really talk about it.
Okay.
So we are not using any of the parabens. Parabens being like not being used for our shampoos. Also these days we try to go paraben free. So in blue we have made sure that it's paraben. No parabens are there. There are no glycerines. There is no carcinogenic elements like nitrosamine.
What is a paraben? What it is making to this
Preservatives.
condoms? Preservatives.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are no parabens, no glycerine, no nitrosamine. Nitrosamines are carcinogenics. It's by default in the nature, in the latex. So we make sure that we reduce it to the lowest possible manner. And we are also not having any of the flavors.
Yeah, why?
Because
I read this one, why it is not,
Yeah.
but most of the advertisements are giving strawberry, that fruit, this
Yeah.
fruit, and why it is not
There's a very big
fragrance-free.
reason behind it, because the flavors require the sugar alcohol for the flavoring agent and the taste, and that causes the yeast infection inside the vagina of the woman.
Oh, really?
Because it is sugar really promotes the yeast infection.
Okay.
So it's not supposed to be inserted inside the vagina, and
Okay.
that's why we are not having that.
And how these condoms are in the sustainable way?
As I mentioned, that we make sure that the raw materials are being procured from the correct sources. The packaging, if you noticed, we have made sure in the packaging that there are no plastic covers on it. So we innovated the entire packaging design. We really worked hard onto it, and I think after 5 alterations probably we got the right one. We did a lot of mistake with the first alteration where the covers were just having the single color of the band, confusing the variants, to being left open, where the perforated tear sheet would just tear open in the courier partners were not handling it properly. So
Okay.
after 5 alterations, we finally got the correct packaging, because we were very clear from the day one that we are not going to use one-time plastic. So howsoever we're going to reach it, but we will definitely not be using the plastic. There is no plastic being used onto the material. Of course, the inner foil, which is a law of the country, which requires foil to be there used, which is something which we cannot change. Else we also search for an option to go for a biodegradable inner material for the packaging of the condom box. That's something which we couldn't do because the permission is not there as per the law. And the colors which we are using are also very much biodegradable colors and everything. So we make sure and we are not using the accelerators to increase, so that the factory has the spring. Instead of having the water from outside, we use the spring water. Every step, every place, we are just trying to reduce the carbon and also being more sustainable, because that's always been the priority for us.
Once you got the idea, you shared with your husband and your family members and you convinced them. And what next? How you got an idea of bringing out to the market?
Yeah, so that's
What is that part? And that story is a struggle.
that was a major struggle.
Okay.
Getting an idea is the easiest thing, I believe, into the entrepreneur's journey. It's the most easiest one. Like many entrepreneurs, they say that they would not want to share the idea if anyone could copy their idea and all. But being an entrepreneur, it's the easiest part is to get the idea. Implementation is the challenge. So when I started hunting out, there were those manufacturers who were not ready to do it. Our MOQs were pretty low at that time. Our requirements were very specific. So manufacturers were not really interested in doing it. And plus, talking to a woman, it's a very small cartel of condom manufacturers in India. And they have never had women on the front, on the opposite end, dealing with them. So one of the factors, they were also not very comfortable. And second, the MOQs and the requirements. After a lot of hunt and thing, we finally found someone, and yeah, he's been a supportive one for us for a very long time.
Spreading among the people, what is your core idea of bringing this product to the market is also an idea. So what you did by that time? You need to talk, right? First more, you need to talk about this product, and this is what I am doing to the women or to the men or to the society or to the sustainable way. So how you approached the people?
We first started talking about it onto the LinkedIn.
Okay.
Being a very soft platform, because the people over there have they are more acceptable and open to the new ideas. So that was a very, very good platform to start talking about it. And I started talking out over there, and slowly I created a page, and my personal branding really helped in bringing in the sales. From there onwards, it was no looking back. Then, of course, the other digital channels, Google, Facebook, Amazon, etc., everything started coming in, and even the media started following us. So that was, it was like we have to really understand where would be the right platform and the right audience. And for us, that educated audience about the India for the vegan and the sustainable, and the audience who can spend the amount was there. So it really worked for us.
Before this, I mean, getting into this project or the entrepreneurship, what you are doing?
I was into a construction business.
Construction business. That is completely different. This is completely different.
Yes, so I had to do a lot of unlearning before we could actually be on the toes with Blue. Construction is a very, very crass and a raw category. And from there, when I come to startup, which is a more sophisticated ecosystem, of course, a lot of unlearning had to be done. But then, yeah, that's the fun of.
So, which one you liked? The construction business or this?
I would not want to go back to construction. I enjoy the women wellness a lot more. I feel that I am adding value. There is something that can be left behind, where I have touched the lives and made a change in the, added a value to someone's life. So this is something which I would want to do.
And while watching and reading your product, I have seen this is cruelty free, vegan also. So can you please explain where this vegan thing came into this
So
condoms?
we do not really test on animals.
Okay.
We are very clear about it.
Actually, I don't know. This condoms also testing on animals?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we do not do that.
Okay.
And we do not use casein. Casein is a milk byproduct.
Acha. That product is involved in this making also.
Yes.
So how many different kind of condoms Blue is having now?
We are having 3 variants at the
Three.
four variants.
4.
4 variants at the moment.
Okay, so what are the variants?
Ultra thin, 3-in-1, dotted and spiral. Spiral is something which is a very innovative shape, which is just available with Blue. And currently we are
Nowhere
the first.
in any other
No, because
products.
we worked towards the shape. We
Okay.
tried, since we didn't wanted to add benzocaine. Benzocaine is again a local anesthetic which is added into most of the condoms for the long lasting pleasure. But since we didn't wanted to add that and we had to find a substitute to it, so we tried playing with the shape so that at least the pleasure can be increased with the help of the shape.
This safety thing is just for an act they'll take and they forget about that one. They won't think what you are saying right now. So they should come up with a more education, sex education in colleges or the schools or the family or the society ultimately. You mean that, and how it's going to spread in the awareness in the society?
Absolutely, sex education should be a part of the curriculum, and in our country, of course, it needs to be. The kids, we are the highest porn consumption in the world. I think this can change once we start having more of the awareness at the grassroots level, where kids have been made aware about what's right and how do you get to know about your own body transformation. It's a very integral part which should be, government should be taking care of it, and should be. The private organizations, I know many are doing it. We are supporting them and being a part of their journey, but the private on its own cannot really change or bring that big difference which a government intervention could.
So during your journey to the entrepreneurship, how we have helped you to bring the product to the market?
So VHub has been a very, very important part, because when I was very new and I came up to them and asked them about the support, initially they were shocked, but
Okay.
then eventually,
With the idea.
yeah, because as I said, initially everyone gets a shock about it and it takes time to absorb the idea. But once Deepthi understood the concept and everything, VHub has helped me in understanding the market, doing a deep detailed research about the marketing and everything, and taking it forward from there onwards, understanding how the support system of the ecosystem, where I get a chance to meet. If I request for a meeting with someone, they give the kind of the right feedback
Contact
and
or-
the right contact. So that really helps. As a business, of course, no one is going to do the business for you. In the ecosystem or any incubator is not going to really do it for you. But then if they can give you the right platform and the right contact and the right space in the ecosystem, that's good enough. And that's what we have received from the VHub.
See, doctors also even, they are suggesting to have a baby the simplest way, or take the contraceptive.
I've heard that many times.
Okay, through your gynec.
Yes.
Okay.
Initially when I was facing, sorry I interrupted you, but yeah, initially when I was facing the issue, I remember my gynec repeatedly mentioning me, just have a baby, all the problems are going to be solved. Just have a baby. For every problem, you've been recently married, just have a baby. It's just, you need a baby to occupy you. And I would be like, I'm occupied, I'm working, why would I need a baby to occupy me? But yeah, I've heard that, and I can really correlate with what you're trying to say.
Yeah, or take a contraceptive pill. They'll
Yes.
say in this way, right?
Yeah.
lot of 99% I have seen the women, they don't know first of all what kind of problem they are having, even they use the condoms in their marital life or whatever the things nowadays is happening. So can you please mention few of the things what they are having, what kind of issues they are getting through the healthy side?
Women have a lot of infections after the using of the regular condoms.
Okay.
So when you have those burning, itching and irritation feeling, it's because of the chemicals that's been added in the condoms, in the regular condoms that's available. So you have to be aware about that. The persistent, the burning sensation or the itching sensation is something. In the hormonal imbalance, in the contraceptives, like for the birth control pills, it's very well aware. But then that's something which, of course, I'm not very equipped to talk about it, because pharmacologist or someone would be more equipped to say about that. So that's the issue that woman faces. And if you do not use any kind of the contraceptives, pregnancy, STIs.
Yeah. So Komal, I just want to know how it is going to be eco-wise, it is helpful to the society, the product.
We do not use any one-time plastic cover, which is of course goes into the landfill, and of course that does not really make sense to have that being there, since our PM has been talking about for a very long time as well, stressing onto the fact about the one-time plastic usage, and we do not have that. Papers that we are using are also completely biodegradable. The foil is not, and we cannot really change anything about that. It's something which I really regret, and I really can't do anything about it.
Okay.
But then again, the condoms which has been procured is from the natural latex tree, rubber tree, and of course it's again.
The best comment all these 3 years, what you want?
From the customer.
First, from the customer side only.
From the customer side, I remember once I got a call from one of the random customers, and I don't, not a random, from one of the customer. I don't know how she got hold of my number.
Oh.
Because I do not give out my number. And she was crying, and I asked her what happened, and she's like, you saved my marriage life.
Oh.
And I was like, how? Then she was like, we were having the issues for the longest possible time, and I used to always suffer whenever we used to have sex because of the condoms. There used to be a lot of burning, a lot of itching, and I used to have trouble the next day. But I just couldn't ever have the courage to talk about it. When I read about your interview and I used your product, I could actually think of being able to stay with my husband and continue my marriage. So that was very touching for me to imagine saving a marriage where in India we are having, because of the lifestyle and all the issues in the environment that we are having in the ecosystem, our modernization, where the marriages are definitely going through a lot of turmoil. So it was really
Heart-touching,
heart-touching to hear about that. Then of course after that there's been lot of messages that has been pouring in on the Amazon, on the website, on our WhatsApp and on our emails, everywhere. But this is one that it still reminds me or still motivates me to go forward and help more such women.
During this journey, your family is very important, right? To support in this way, so their support is must. And tell me about your husband and your family, how they supported you during this period.
I've been very lucky to have a very supportive family, coming from a Marwadi family, which is considered to be a conservative community.
Yeah, conservative community.
But then I have been very lucky. Both my sides of the parents have been very supportive, and even my husband, they have been very, very, very supportive, and there's not been much of issues for me personally to face. On the society front, yeah, there has been lot, but then because of the supportive family, I think I was able to bear it.
Is he very proud of you? Your
Yeah,
husband?
absolutely.
What's his name?
His name is Namit.
Namit. And you have kids also, right?
Yeah, but then I would not like to really take their names.
Okay.
I would want to keep
Fine.
them away from this thing till they are
Okay.
grown enough.
And you're a student of IIM.
I completed my education, executive management from IIM.
Okay.
I did my marketing from Cranfield, UK.
By the time you have any idea of that you want to start your own branding or your own brand, something in entrepreneurship?
When I did my masters, after that I came back to India. I started with another startup that was into the. So I was in Calcutta, based out of Calcutta. Calcutta has got a lot of these artisans, and their work is never been really paid off very nicely. They create beautiful products made out of mud, and for every festival they have very unique products. So my first startup was from Calcutta, where I was exporting these again on the online platform. So for the Rakhi, we would have these beautiful Rakhis being sent from the Calcutta artisans. For Diwali, a diya or anything, that would be done. So that was my first startup before again, then I joined for the work for some time into the construction, and then again got into again my own business.
And now where you want to keep this one after 5 years, this product, especially Blue with the
I want to
blue.
get deeper into the women health, into sustainable manner of delivering women solutions. There are a lot many taboo issues that women faces, and they are not being spoken about. There is no solution to it. There's a silent suffering that is happening. So with Blue, as I said, it has to be breaking the glass ceiling and breaking those taboos.
Breaking the stereotypes.
Yeah, breaking the stereotypes. So would want to do that.
So is there any idea, now it is in India only, you want to take it to the world?
Yes,
Definitely.
Yes, we would want to.
Is there any other product like this in other countries?
So America does have it. As
Okay.
of now, I know America definitely does have it, but then the other, not many countries has this.
One final, any message to the women, whoever is facing some sexual issues or some health issues?
Talk about it. Please do talk about it. Talk to your doctor or maybe to your partner or anyone with whom you are comfortable. There are solutions available only once you start acknowledging the problem and talking about it.
Okay, thank you so much, Komal,
Thank
and
you.
it's been a nice education to all the people, whoever is watching your video. Thank you so
Thanks
much
a
and
lot.
all the best to you.
Pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
సో చూసారు కదండి, ఇది ఇవాళ ఇంటర్వ్యూ. నెక్స్ట్ మరో ఇంటర్వ్యూతో మళ్ళీ కలుసుకుందాం మనం. అంటిల్ దెన్ స్టే ట్యూన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.